So, to everyone who voted on which movie Josh and I would like best, well, he'll agree with the majority of you, but to the 6%, my heart goes out to you, because The Damned was the reason I joined him on an hour-and-a-half long road trip just to go to the only theater near us playing either movie, and needless to say, it was worth it. The Damned follows a fishing colony low on food and supplies that discovers a shipwreck, and out of desperation, their leader Ava, played by Odessa Young, decides to prioritize their own survival and instead take what's left of the wreckage for themselves, a decision that literally begins to haunt the entire colony and drive them all mad one by one. I hadn't even seen a trailer, let alone heard of this movie until people started talking about it, declaring it the kind of January horror movie that we should be getting each year, and that alone made me want to check it out, but every review described it in the best possible way as being similar to a Robert Eggers-style folk horror with how the scares come from unseen superstitions, moral consequences of characters' actions, and old-fashioned build-up over cheap jump scares, which is exactly why The Damned gave me chills down my spine, and also raised my heartburn from the popcorn and chicken. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous, full of so many naturally lit shots that are perfectly composed in who and what to put in the foreground and background, lots of Spielberg wonders that simulate cutting between different camera angles and keeping the slow pace moving, and is the rare film that actually knows how to deliberately make shots look murky or underlit so that whatever the characters can't see, we can't see, so we're literally in the dark as much as they are. But there's still enough clarity in the shadows and silhouettes that if you look really closely, you can still see what's going on and be horrified by it. The winter atmosphere has the polar opposite effect. It just came to me, okay? Of a western desert where they're both massive in scope, lots of vast yet empty isolated land where there's always somewhere to run but nowhere to hide when shit goes down. Snow covers the land and blows in the wind as opposed to sand, so as opposed to mirages, snow and fog literally clouds people's judgment as to what they're seeing. And of course, in the little downtime they have, the fishermen sing sea shanties as opposed to cowboy outlaw songs. But make no mistake, the most heart-racing aspect of The Damned is Stephen McCann's suspenseful musical score combined with the eerie sound design that builds up so much anticipation, especially when the threat is off-screen or hidden in the shadows. There are occasional jump scares, false alarms, and sudden loud scene transitions, but they always kept you on your toes as much as the characters. Casting-wise, Odessa Young does a great job at acting in constant fear and confliction, doing so many unnatural mannerisms like mouth breathing and wide-eyed reactions without it ever getting awkward. Her arc of taking over the fishing station from her dearly departed husband, arguing with the other fishermen, prioritizing their own survival, being low on food supplies, bearing constant cold weather, and getting next to no sleep all before shit starts to go down. She has a lot on her plate, and so you understand every decision that she makes under pressure, while also feeling the guilt that plays into whatever's haunting them. And I like the fact that the movie uses all of these stressful situations to cast doubt over whether something supernatural is actually haunting them, or the living and working conditions combined with their guilt is leading to mass hysteria. Especially with the ending where it does give a definitive answer, but there's still so many clues where you can give your own interpretation as to how and why everything happened. The side characters aren't the most fleshed out, save for Siobhan Finneran as the superstitious one who has a great ghost story monologue that ties into the suspicions everyone has as to what's going on. And Joe Cole's alright as a potential love interest to Ava to add to her shame, but he doesn't really get that much to chew on. That said, every actor gets individual moments to shine, and there are other actors from movies and shows that you might recognize and instantly think, well, they're probably going to be in this until the very end, and then they're killed off in unpredictably early points to prove that no character in this is safe. My only real issue with The Damned is that it is a slow burn thriller, and no matter how good they are, all of them have moments mainly in the middle portion of the film where they get slow and or repetitive too often, and in this case, you can only watch the exact same people experience the same hallucinations, nightmares, and or hauntings in the exact same fashion without anything really being different. Towards the climax, it picks itself back up, but there comes a point where I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually wanted someone to pull out their phone just to see how much time was left, but it didn't change the fact that I still wanted to see where everything was going. I did care about these characters. I felt the pain they were experiencing. And again, much like a Robert Eggers folk horror, the scares come from the unseen guilt, fear, and superstitions that lie within all of us, along with spectacular visuals, eerie music and sound, and great acting from everybody. No matter how little adept we get, we can still identify and put ourselves within the positions of these characters in order to feel scared. If you can find a theater nearby you that's playing it, definitely check it out. Or do what Josh and I did and drive an hour and a half to and back. We had some fun karaoke times. And with that, guys, thanks as always for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of The Damned. Be sure to like, subscribe, check me out on Patreon and buy me a coffee, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Take care.